Chapter 43. Don't all children love it? Fu Huai'an and his assistant fumbled around the room without managing to catch this cat.
Fu Huai'an looked inside the cat's cage. A grey British shorthair was curled up inside. He looked up at him with a defensive gaze, its light eyes somehow reminding him of Lin Nuan. He couldn't bring himself to ask his assistant to send the cat away. He grabbed the cat's cage and watched the assistant put away the cat things in the house. Ah, yes. The assistant put down the cat litter and stood up to ask Fu Huai'an. Miss Lin was in a hurry to leave today, so she left her ID card. Should I keep it safe until she needs it again for certificate collection? Or should I leave it with you? Pass it to me. Fu Huai'an took the personal identification card and lit a cigarette. He felt the cat's paws grabbing at the cage. As he looked down, a grey cloud darted in front of him and jumped onto the flat-screen TV in the living room. With agile movements, its paws trampled the thin screen as it claimed higher ground. The cat gauged Fu Huai'an, ready to escape at any moment. Fu Huai'an realized that he couldn't leave the cat alone at home when he had to go on a trip later. He took his cigarette out of his mouth and said with a frown, "Catch it." The huge chubby cat was agile for its size. Fu Huai'an's assistant fumbled around the room without managing to catch it. The assistant stood downstairs, exhausted, watching the cat sitting at the top of the stairs meow maliciously at him. He had a look of existential despair on his face. Tuan heard the meowing from the stairs, got rid of the toys and ran out. A cat's ears are very sensitive. As soon as he heard the footsteps, he turned around and looked behind him with his round eyes, ready to run away at any moment. Tuan hugged the big cat fiercely before it could escape. Meow! Quote. The chubby cat let out a cry when it was suddenly hugged tightly by Tuan. Fu Huai'an's fingers clenched around his cigarette as he feared that Tuan would be scratched by the cat. Kitty! Tuan grabbed the chubby cat by the chest and stood up. The cat suddenly went from energetic to submissive. Its front paws rested on Tuan's skinny little arms, its tail brushed the ground as it let Tuan drag its body down. Daddy! The cat? Tuan's big black eyes glowed with excitement. Fu Huai'an walked towards the stairs, a cigarette in his mouth, a troubled expression on his face. Fu Huai'an took the chubby cat by the neck as Tuan carried it downstairs. The cat was even more submissive in his hands, his round, amber eyes staring at Fu Huai'an's to try and gauge his master's mood. The cage. Fu Huai'an's assistant immediately went to get the cat's cage. He pushed the chubby cat inside and closed the door. The cat meowed loudly inside and scratched the door with its paws. As Fu Huai'an signaled his assistant to take the cat away, Tuan suddenly grabbed onto Fu Huai'an's leg and rolled his eyes, asking, "Is this cat for mom?" Apparently, Tuan also saw this picture in Lin Nuan's house. On the way back from the broadcasting station, Lin Nuan went to the supermarket because Fu Huai'an asked her to babysit Tuan tonight when he went on a business trip. Lin Nuan had never babysat a child before and she had no idea what kind of snacks to prepare for him on the way home. She pushed the cart forward and saw a mother grab a child by the arm and scold him, forbidding him to eat junk food. The child had tears in his eyes and was pointing at the chips, making a shameless scene. Lin Nuan was not used to eating this kind of food. She pushed the cart in front of the shelves, grabbed a bag of chips and carefully read the instructions written on the back of the package.
Chapter 44. What would Fu Huai'an think? Lin Nuan's phone vibrated in her bag and she was unable to answer.
Lin Nuan thought as she put down the chips and looked for a healthier snack with fewer additives for Nuan. Her phone vibrated in her bag. Liang Mulan was calling her. Mom. Lin Nuan answered as she put a bag of imported cookies in the cart. Nuan, I talked to your father about you picking up the certificate today. He said that Fu Huai'an is now officially part of the family and he wants us to pick a date to have dinner at Mangjiang Tower. Why don't we talk it over with Fu Huai'an and pick an appropriate time? Liang Mulan let out a barely audible sigh as she spoke into the phone. She had originally planned for Lin Nuan to bring her husband back to have a nice dinner at home. But they finally decided to eat out after considering Lin Ran's feelings. Lin Nuan's hands tense up. Liang Mulan's question reminded him of what Bai Xiaonian had said to him in the parking lot. Bai Xiaonian had told her that Wen Moshen's return just before they got their marriage certificate could be some kind of sign from the universe. If Lin Nuan was really so in love with Wen Moshen, why not try to confess her feelings to him instead of marrying a stranger? She could even pair up with the person she really loves. Bai Xiaonian also said that an alpha male like Fu Huai'an, who was at the top of the food chain, would never tolerate a woman leaving him at the altar right before their wedding because of another man. She asked Lin Nuan to think carefully for the sake of her lifetime happiness. Even if she didn't marry Fu Huai'an, Wen Moshen was back and the Gu family wouldn't force Gu Hanyan to remarry. I understand, mother. I'll discuss it with him when I return. Lin Nuan didn't tell Liang Mulan that they hadn't picked up the certificate so that she wouldn't end up thinking too much. After paying the bill, Lin Nuan left the supermarket with her hands full of groceries. The cold wind and rain greeted her outside. It was drizzling outside. You could tell the rain wasn't heavy in the illuminating orange haze. She tucked strands of hair, loosened by the wind, behind her ear and ran home, groceries in one hand and the other to protect her head with her bag. Lin Nuan's neighborhood was just behind the supermarket and a short distance away. However, Lin Nuan still felt penetrated by the humid air when she arrived home. It was 9 o'clock when she finished stacking and putting away the refrigerator. She didn't know when Fu Huai'an would drop Tuan Tuan off, so she didn't dare to shower yet, in case no one would open the door for her when he arrived and rang the doorbell. She dabbed her hair with the towel and went to heat up a glass of milk. She took a few sips from the cup while leaning on the dressing table. By 9 o'clock, Tuan Tuan still hadn't arrived. Lin Nuan sat on the couch with her legs crossed. She opened her laptop and watched a video of Wang Ling introducing the morning show. Lin Nuan took her phone and checked the time. It was 10 o'clock. She hesitated to call Fu Huai'an. Bai Xiaonian's words popped into Lin Nuan's head without warning. She felt her heart beating rapidly in panic. Her finger stopped in midair before reaching the dial. If Fu Huai'an had already decided not to get the marriage certificate with her, what would he think if she suddenly called him? At 10:30, Lin Nuan stood in front of the sink, distraught. She took a handful of water and splashed it on her face, but it was not enough to calm her frantic thoughts. Lin Nuan's phone rang in the living room. She immediately grabbed the towel to dry her face and ran out. The screen displayed Bai Xiaonian's name. For some reason, Lin Nuan felt a pang of disappointment in her heart.